do you choose to do your task, whether firewood or logging or tree work? Let's look at 3 popular professional saw chains. First is the Oregon 72EXL, one of the latest designs out. The Steel 33RSX, very low on reactive forces. And the Oregon 72LGX, an older style with a little change for out-of-the-box performance. Let's look at the slight differences. The Oregon 72LGX anodized tooth has all of your witness marks, very fast cutting, very smooth cutting chain. The Steel 33RSX is reduced in reactive forces, but very good on boring, plunge cuts, and very fast cutting. The 72LGX, a little older design with a out-of-the-box performance improvement. Notice the close comparison to the Oregon 72LGX and the Steel 33RSX. The Oregon 72EXL, latest design. But look at the difference here in an overlay. The LGX has a little bit of an advantage out of the box. But on any of these, how will the filing make a difference? The file diameter, the position, your position angle, all make differences in your filing process. We're using the Steel 7/32 file guide. It matches the steel tooth very well. It matches the Oregon 72EVL also very well. It really doesn't match the 72LGX exact because of the out-of-the-box performance improvement. The Oregon 7/32 file freehand fits the 72LGX perfectly. It also fits the 72EVL very well. The Ferd CSX at the Steel 2-in-1 fits these teeth very nicely. What does a depth gauge or raker do? Let's remove some tooth and see how it all works. Then we'll put the round file back in again. Using 7/32. With this gauge, it really doesn't start to take the depth gauges down because I've got 2 long teeth on either side, and that's kind of holding them up. You know, the top plate is what's going to angle down as we go. With the gauge tool, teeth should be the same length as the raker setting is different. The tooth point lowers as the tooth is filed back. So we've taken the top plate back about 50% of its usable area between the original point height and the witness mark. And you can see this gauge is 25 thousandths. It's not going to take anything off at this point because the tooth in back and the tooth in front are still at the original point heights. Let's see if we can use the individual gauge here, and I'm going to go to the softwood setting and see what we take off here. It's taking some off. I prefer to use this type of a gauge because it does take each tooth independently. I want to show you as we we spin the chain around. I'm going to take a good bit off here because I removed quite a lot of the tooth top. The depth gauge sets how thick a chip the tooth tries to take and adjusts the chisel angle. You can see lowered 35 thousandths and lowered 45 thousandths. The angle changes. How does the raker depth gauge affect chisel angle? It tilts it during the cut. You can see the two short teeth there. The one in the front to the right side has got the depth gauge just filed down, I don't know, probably 40 thousandths, 45 thousandths. The other one is set with the Husqvarna raker gauge, and it's probably about 31 to 35 thousandths on the softwood setting. And you can see the angles of the teeth set up, the chisel angle of the tooth set up because of the depth gauge setting. Look at the difference of chisel angle going into the fiber. The lower raker setting takes a deep bite. I get questions about taking the gullet. The gullet is not as much for chip clearance as it is to reduce friction in the kerf as the tooth is filed back. The point tends to work inward and the base or gullet area tends to go outward. The reason for removing the gullet area is not as much for chip flow as it is side kerf clearance. There are so many types, there's so many things to think about, but it all goes back to trying to keep your chain in box stock condition. Watch your angles, want to watch your file sizes, making sure that you get proper performance by keeping the saw chain in box stock condition.